Hello, I'm Georgette Pierre, and this is Breaking Bread and Breaking Barriers, a safe space for people with diverse backgrounds to share experiences, learn about each other, and celebrate our differences. Our first guest is Tiana Miller, a comedian, writer, and musician. She runs the meme page Unnecessary Robots, which is also the name of her podcast, and was the lead singer-songwriter of Brooklyn-based band Hermit Heroes. Our next guest was born in Singapore and now based in New York City. Chun has been dancing professionally for 8 years. She has performed in off-Broadway productions and has been a finalist in numerous dance competitions. Steve Narvaez is a musical artist who has performed, produced, and DJed in various genres and projects over the past 30 years all over the world. He has also worked with the largest healthcare workers union in North America for almost 20 years fighting for workers' rights. Natoya Clarke is a social worker and mentor with more than a decade working in social services. She has mentored at-risk youth, worked with those experiencing homelessness, mental illness, and substance abuse challenges, and is currently trying to keep our children safe working in child protection. Okay, so here's how it works. I'll have a question for each guest that they have to answer. Once they answer, then they can ask any guest to answer the same question. So Tiana, I'm going to start with you. So if you live to be 100 years old, would you rather have a sharp mind or fit body?
I would definitely choose a sharp mind. I just feel like I'm a comedian, and like, as long as you can make fun of things and make things fun and mentally overcome things, everything's gonna be fine, basically. I mean, like, the body is tempting because I actually have multiple sclerosis and I've never had a perfect body, or even a good one. But I've always had a sharp mind, so I've been able to turn that into comedy and overcome that with my mind. So yeah.
I would choose sharp mind too. But I always think about it like mind over matter.
Yeah.
Where I literally tell myself I have Rihanna abs, right?
Yeah.
And so my Abrianas are popping.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like, you can tell yourself what you want your body to look like. Okay, so who do you want to throw that question to next?
I'm gonna go with Natoya.
So I'd rather have a sharp mind. I think your body, like, I expect to have arthritis. This weather in this country kills me. It's hot, it's cold, it's damp, it's this. I have aches, I have pains. I don't expect my body to just be this stellar thing that's gonna do me well in later years. But my mind, I want it to be there when, your kids have kids or whatever. You want to be able to have a conversation with them. And I think that that's important. I want my mind to be sharp. I don't want to be drooling and looking crazy and not being able to answer. So yeah, definitely go with sharp mind. I think that's important.
Okay, Chun, this one's for you. Are you stronger mentally or physically?
Yeah, I'll definitely have to say that as a dancer, it's important to have physical strength. That's what my whole life work is about. But I think mentally strong is something that I think every dancer, every person actually, it drives the body is the mind. Yeah. There's only so much your physical capability is, but it's how you use your mind to equip your body, I think. But for me personally, just to share more, I think behind the mind, I struggled for the longest time with breakthrough because mental and physical is just only tangible, I believe in more of spirit. So it's the spirit that drives the mind, that drives the body in a sense. And it's a very interesting, almost triune ecosystem and correlated relationship. So I believe that it's with all three. And as an artist, we all, I think, have to balance all. But for me, I think my strength currently at this age in my career and person, like, is definitely more tipped towards mental strength. And I'm trying to equip myself more, like read every day, certain habits I have in my routine to keep mentally sharp would be my answer.
Did it take you some time to get there? Did you always feel like you were mentally strong in pursuing your career in dancing?
I think it changes in different seasons in life. So definitely as a young dancer, I've always been more of a mentally focused person based on my training as an Asian crazy person child, like brought up very traditional in Singapore. So we are trained since a young 3-year-old to like use our brain. But during my peak of my career, of course, everything was always about the body. Still is, I think, in New York. I have to be very careful as a dancer and mindful that is more than just the physicality. Of course, dance is just all you see is a physical body, a physical dancer. We're typecast based on our looks, our roles, our what we look like, you know. So it's part of the game, I guess. But I'm definitely more mindful, and I think my strength as a dancer also comes with my mental strength and my what I bring to the table beyond just having that physical aspect, that edge almost. I think that's where I thrive, and I gladly will wield this sword and use it for my benefit.
I'm curious on who you're going to throw this question to next, Chun. Yes.
With my jazz hands.
What was the question again?
Are you stronger mentally or physically?
Yeah, I definitely need to hit that mental gym, as you could tell. So I think I'm gonna go with mental fitness. As an artist and musician, I definitely rely on that muscle probably most of all to take in the world experiences and process it and turn it into sound, into words, into visuals. And that's something that I hope to be able to do well into my, golden years, and for that reason, being mentally fit or having a sharper mind is definitely gonna serve me better, I think.
I can get with that. Okay, Steve, which is more important, justice or forgiveness?
I think I would say that forgiveness is more important. Not to sound all hippie-ish, but I think when you're trying to carry out justice for certain infractions or whatever, it could kind of go down like a slippery slope where whether it's due to political things or freedom of speech or whatever, people start kind of using it almost as a weapon. So I think practicing forgiveness for our fellow man is a way that we could in the long run actually try to get to a more compassionate place, a softer heart, a lighter heart, where you're not carrying around so much, resentment and stuff.
Have you struggled with forgiveness?
I think it's something that everyone struggles with. I've definitely had to forgive things in my life and people, and I've been able to, thankfully. It hasn't been easy, but at the end of the day, I do sleep better and I feel better that I've been able to forgive people and let go of certain things. So yes.
So who are you throwing this question to, Steve?
I'm gonna throw this one to Chun.
Come on, Chun.
Yeah, I brought up very strong justice, but for me, I definitely choose forgiveness. I feel because I think the world needs so much more forgiveness. And I don't know, it's so, we are flesh, when a kid is when they fight with toy, they're like, ah! It's so natural, it's like a instinct, but it's so much more important to have grace. It's so easy to say it because especially New York is so gritty, so grimy. So I definitely choose forgiveness. And I myself want to practice forgiveness more because I'm such a like people say, oh, you have such a good memory. It's also a curse because I remember a lot of things, so I cannot forget. It's like justice, and I'm brought up so Asian, so everything's right, wrong, black, white, good, bad, so clear and clean. But here it's like chaos. So I realized that it must be both. But for me personally, definitely is forgiveness. I want to practice. I want to preach more. I want to definitely breathe also even more forgiveness.
Okay, Natoya, would you rather meet your great-great-grandparents or great-great-grandchildren?
I think I'd rather meet my great-grandkids. Seems pretty cool. I mean, I have an idea of what my grandparents look like, and I've actually met my great-grandparents, so I think just having an idea, kids usually are a combination of genes, and you kind of have an idea of what your the great-grands would probably look like, but your kids, you're just like, I don't know what they would look like. So I think that would be pretty awesome. So I think I'd rather meet my great-grandkids.
Okay, so who are you going to throw that question to next?
I'm going to throw that to Tiana.
I would definitely want to meet my great-grandkids. I feel like I want to see, first of all, I just want to see what's in the future and ask them cars flying yet? You got a robot made? What's going on? Yeah, I would definitely pick the grandkids.
Why not the grandparents? Just curious.
I don't know. My family's creepy. I feel like I don't know about great-grandparents. I feel like I I'd just get yelled at by them.
Right.
Like they'd just be like, "Why you all tattooed up? What are you doing? Tattooed up, you single in Brooklyn." I mean, I'm just talking from the way my mom and my grandma talked to me. I don't really need to hear it from a great grandma too, you know? I'd rather be the great grandma. That way I can be like, "Oh yeah.
During my heyday.
Yeah, during my heyday, we had Bandcamp and MP3s." Yeah, like, I'd like to see what's going on. What's going on in the future? Which way do we go? Is it a dystopian disaster with Tina Turner there? Or is it like an awesome Elysium with like, we finally got over our egos, you know? I just basically picking the great grandkids to use the future, to see the future.
Do you have a number in mind? Do you care about how many great grandchildren?
No, right now I don't foresee any, but I wouldn't mind a few.
If you could have a superpower, what would you choose and why?
For superpower, I would definitely have to go with like a little shared turn back time type of thing.
Why share? Why turning back the hands of time?
First of all, I just think it would impress Cher, and that would be really cool. Second of all, then I just have certain regrets in my life. And it would just be nice to go back and revisit certain moments with certain people when it was still a good time, you know? Maybe tell myself a few things that I know now.
How far back would you go?
Maybe my first tattoo. No. I've never done not regret tattoos. It's kind of weird that I chose that. I would go back probably. I would go back to myself like in puberty for sure. And I'd be like, you really need to stop hating your body. You need to appreciate it while you have what you have. Yeah. I would go back to my teens.
As early as.
Yeah.
Are there people still around that you would kind of change back the conversation or just how things ended?
I would definitely never have gotten involved with my ex, for sure. My ex of 10 years. And yeah, I would have stayed away from that. I was part of the opioid epidemic. I would have been like, listen, this is only going to bring you trouble and it's going to kill a lot of your friends. You know, I would probably go back to like 16 and just be like, it's not cool. You know, calm down, kid. That's basically what I'd say.
That's an interesting superpower. So now I'm curious on who you're going to throw that question to. Sure.
I guess I'm going to throw it to Steve.
So, you know, I think I'm going to go with I'm going to try to throw a curveball. Most people usually go with, you know, flying or super strength or invisibility. I'm going to say if I can have a superpower, I would want to have the power of the Pokemon Jigglypuff, who when he sings a sweet little song, he puts people to sleep. Now, this power could come in very handy in many situations, as you could imagine. And it wouldn't only work on other humans, but it could work on animals. So if you got like a ferocious, you know, German Shepherd attacking you, you just sing your little Jigglypuff song and that dog is out like a light. So I think it could come in handy.
Okay, Chun. Have you ever had an experience that led you to believe in angels or ghosts?
Yes. So I'm an artist, so I live in very crappy places. So I lived in Melbourne, as I with Chapel Street. So I lived in this like abandoned hospital. So it's like I live in the smallest, cheapest room. It was like 600 Aussie dollars, 625. It was very affordable. I think it was 525 after that, but it was very cheap. So it was literally like a hospital bed. The mirrors, it's like really like what you would see in a haunted house. I live there like that. I'm very adventurous. I'm very open. I'm very confident. I'm not afraid. But it was just one incident that was very creepy. I think I was like coming out of my bathroom and it's very cold and it's coming out. I went to the bathroom and there's this lady who's putting her red lipstick on and she has the umbrella and she has a white umbrella. And I still remember her, she has like a bob, like very pretty hair. But she looks like with big eyes and then she was just putting her lipstick on. And then I looked back, I was like rubbing my eyes, I looked back and she's gone. So I was like, oh, okay, interesting. So I continued going about my way. I mean, I was just praying about it and let it go. And I brushing my teeth, everything getting ready. And I was like going out, right? And I was going out to my house and in Melbourne, it's 4 seasons a day. So I was just walking out and I was carrying my umbrella because it was raining and, you know. And then I saw her walking across me like this. I was just like, outside. I was like, oh, mommy's the real person. I don't know. I'll never know. And she just walked off this, and then I continued going this way. So I just went back to my dance school. So it's interesting.
Oh, that would scare the heck
No,
out
I
of
mean, I
me.
was like, oh, okay. No, it's till today, I wonder if she's a real person or not. Probably not, but I was like, cool. I just say a prayer for her and I just continue my way.
Okay, so Chun, who are you going to throw that question to? Natoya.
So growing up in Jamaica, you're always hearing stories about ghosts, aka Duppy, right? So you'll hear someone say, they saw their great-grandmother, great-grandfather. Well, wouldn't you know, I have such a story. So when I was younger, my cousin and I, we used to sleep in the same bed. We're kids, nobody cares, and my other cousin said to me, he was babysitting us, and he says to me, I saw this lady standing at the edge of your bed in a white dress. And I was like, dude, you're killing me. Are you serious? Who is this supposed to be? And he's like, I think it was your grandmother. Now, no, just something of note. My grandmother died when my father was 10. So that was one of my first noteworthy stories as far as ghosts. So I'd definitely go with ghosts stories because that's something that we grew up with. It's like very par for the course. Ghosts are just like a thing. Everybody's seen one. Everybody's had interaction with one. I haven't actually had the pleasure, but I'm not really sad about that either.
Steve, what do you complain about the most?
I think what I tend to, I'm not much of a complainer, but if I had to think about it, I tend to complain a lot about on social media or when I talk to friends. We all kind of talk about how difficult it is to connect and meet someone here in New York City. And I tend to have a reference point of 15, 20 years ago when it was a very different time. You could meet someone going to Washington Square Park, just sitting there reading a book, or, someone asks you what book you're reading, or you ask them, and you would have a conversation and then kind of spend a day talking about, art, music, whatever. Now, I think people, since they tend to be more attached to their phones and kind of disconnected from the world around them and from each other, it's a lot harder to connect with people, and especially in New York City where everyone's going a million miles a minute. People really don't slow down for each other. So that's been something kind of frustrating that I tend to go on about sometimes, and along with some of my friends, and we commiserate about how there's no good guys or girls in New York City, and it's hard to meet any to begin with. So I would definitely think that that's something I tend to complain about.
Not a bad complaint. Who are you throwing this question to, Steve?
I am going to throw this to Tiana. Let's see what she has to complain about.
Well, right now I complain the most about my roommates. I lived in an artist loft with a bunch of other musicians, and recently 2 21-year-old best friends moved in. And it's just been like a lot of partying and drinking, and one of them even told me that we don't lock the door.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's Brooklyn. It's like, we like to get robbed here. No, I don't. Yeah. But I guess it's kind of ironic considering my superpower would be turn back time. Maybe I should just teach kids or something.
What is it about the roommates that's just not, where y'all not gelling?
Well, first of all, I wanted to shower before I came here today, and there was an ottoman covered in puke in the shower. Not an ottoman, a cat tower, which is like even weirder. And tons of dishes in the sink. It's just like constant noise, and I need my space to think. I never really realized how big of a time space 10 years is until I started living with 2 21-year-olds. And then I was like, now I'm like, wow, yeah.
Are you pulling your hair out?
Yeah, I'm going crazy. I can't deal with it. I'm trying to sleep out as much as possible. Just their zest for life really gets to my old, bitter New York soul,
I feel like your next complaint is going to be to your landlord.
Yeah, no, she's already hearing it. Trust me. Cat tower of puke in the shower was not cool, to say the least.
Craziness. Okay, Natoya, if you got a tattoo, what would you get and where would you put it?
So I've actually thought about getting a tattoo, and at different points in time, I'm like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get it, and something always comes up. It doesn't happen. But I've always thought that if I was gonna get a tattoo, I would get Age Quad Agis. And it's my school motto. I went to school in Jamaica, went to an all-girls school, and that was our school motto. And it means whatever you do, do it to the best of your ability. And I think it is a great motto to live by. So I've always wanted to get that, you know, so I haven't, and I don't think I will.
You should!
But yeah, that would be what I would get. And I would get it down my spine. So down the middle of my back, just going down this way. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Who are you throwing that question to?
I'm going to be throwing that to Chun.
I have a tattoo in my upper shoulder blade, right shoulder blade scapula. It says dance, u in Chinese, mai in Japanese. I speak 3 languages, so these are the language I speak. And the irony is I did in Melbourne, actually, with a white guy who'd never done kanji before, never did. So this is the tattoo I did. I always only wanted one tattoo, so that's the only one I will get. If I ever did another one, I'll do again. The reason why my story is because like there is an ancient story when the mom used to like ke is to chisel, like Chinese words behind his back as a general. He ended up being an amazing general, very loving, very great, and conquered a lot of things. But it's to like kind of like the pain of it is part of the training. Is to remind me of my dance training, to remind me of my roots, of my ethnicity, of all the gifts that he has given me, like to remember like it's carved and chiseled and I can't see it, but I know it's there. Like that kind of principality, the foundation, all of that like roots and where I come from, I cannot forget. And my training and all the crazy stories I've been all around the world, it's there. So that's why I have it. If I ever do again, I'll touch up or add on to that. But that's it.
Okay, I like that. Thank you to our guests for taking part. Thank you to the audience for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the Red Shark Entertainment YouTube channel to see more episodes like this one.